Hey guys, and welcome back to another Dragon Ball Legends video. My name is DFree, and today we're talking about the Cell Saga and what that could mean for Dragon Ball Legends. I hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you are new, and post in the comments down below what you guys think we're going to potentially be getting. Sorry if it's a little dark in here. I don't have this huge bright light on because sometimes it just gets kind of sensitive for me, for my eyes. But anyway, so we a couple of days ago did get an announcement that there will be a new sparking equipment. So a new equip for a new sparking character, or for a sparking character, excuse me. They typically reserve these for Zenkai characters, particularly older Zenkai characters, but you know, these are cool. They've been doing them for a while, and I think they might have started last time they did Cell Saga content, somewhere in that area. Anyway, so yeah, we got an announcement for this. Shout out to the man Hydros. He does say yellow sparking Super Vegeta is who the equipment is for. The black brush strokes match his assets, and he does show down here that the stroke effect, the brushes. They don't really do a lot of this anymore, by the way. They don't do a lot of these like heavy, deep like brushes effect. I'm not gonna keep saying the other word. They don't really do that too much. Anyway, it matches. So this equip will be for sparking yellow Super Vegeta. That's been in the game for forever. That was like one of the three, I think one of the first three banners that we got, like in terms of gacha, probably something like that. They also did put out a tweet last night, because the other one was a couple of days ago, saying a new event exclusive character will be joining the fight soon, and guess who it is down below in the comments. I would probably surmise this is probably a Cell. Probably. Maybe it's an android. So androids are kind of interesting. We'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, so on the heels of Android 17, it looks like this is going to be the conclusion. I was thinking that we were going to get an equip this week, and that it would be for GT while they spend a week to announce the next upcoming stuff, and maybe it was going to be like Green Super 17 or something. That wasn't the case, obviously, because we are now moving into the Cell Saga. But that being said, what do you guys think about the GT campaign? Remember, there will be more GT characters released throughout the year, but I mean, just looking at this here quickly, they got a number of equips, they got a number of new characters, they got the other equips for the Goku, the Vegeta that came out a little bit before that, things like that. They got a lot of tools, man. I really like what they got. So as a starter pack, if you will, you know, and hopefully they get stuff every few months is what I'm expecting throughout the duration of the year. Probably anniversary, way too early to predict, but probably going to be like Ultra Gogeta 4, something like that. So we'll see what happens. But moving to Cell Saga, a few days ago, I did a video and I talked about like Legends in 2024, what we could potentially see. And I talked about Cell Saga, and it was hilarious because when we hit Cell Saga and it was sorted by like release of like characters, you really see how like barren Cell Saga is and has been. Because look at these characters at the top. These are the newest releases. There's 4 of them there. I guess we'll just say 5 because a couple of them are free characters, by the way. There's that. And other than that, we got like a Zenkai or a few Zenkais, you know, like Yellow Perfect Cell. But then you just shoot all the way back to the old Purple LF Cell, which I think was 2021 release. So the main moral of the story is this is worse than GT was. Like seriously, there's nothing here. So, well, there's some good characters like the Cell, Purple Cell, obviously. Yellow Cell's good. The Red Cell's good. Apparently, this is Cell's team. But no, in all seriousness, there's not really anything here. I've said numerous times that really, if they wanted to sit back and just redo an LF Gohan, that's fine. If they wanted to redo a new Instant Transmission Goku, that's fine. If they wanted to redo a better new Super Vegeta, this is the guy the equip's going to be for, that's fine. Like, everything here is so damn old that, like, I have no qualms with this. I mean, like, seriously, like 85% of this stuff, because look at the release order. 85% of this stuff is like pre-2020, bro. Like, no, 90% of this stuff is 2020 and older. Seriously, it's super old stuff. So anyway, when we look at this grouping here, the main thing I want to say is when you're predicting what they could drop for this, just know that they could basically do anything. The only thing I wouldn't really predict in terms of like, what's the next LF? Are we going to get an Ultra, which we'll talk about in a minute? The only thing I wouldn't predict is a new Cell, because Cell is the only one that has any representation here. Now, that's why I also think the new character will be a free Cell, right? So we're going to start off with Zenkais. But before we do, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new. Also, check out some of the One Punch Man videos. I've been trying to like mix up the content a little bit, and I've been having fun with that as well. Also, we do have a new channel for Dragon Ball Super card game content, which will be coming out later this month, and that one's in the description as well. All right, so starting off with Zenkais, these are all the older Sparkings. There's not a ton here, but actually, coincidentally, most of the old Sparkings have Zenkais. There's not a lot of options here. You're looking at most likely either this red Trunks getting a Zenkai, which actually could be kind of cool. Actually, I think that could be kind of cool. By the way, he is like the only version of this Trunks in the whole game, so maybe we get another version of that Trunks where, you know, he wins and all that stuff. So we'll see. But no, this is Heat Dome Trunks though. God damn it, I gotta think about it. The Heat, dude, the Heat Dome. Okay, I am like totally misremembering. The Heat Dome is when he wins in the end, right at the end of the saga, right? It is, because in the middle portion of the saga, he was just getting his butt kicked and just crying all over the place. I'm sorry, Trunks, it is what it is. And then First Form Cell could potentially get it. First Form Cell, I think that came out together. Cell is always a character that's been DOA though. In fact, they might have been on an Ultra Space-Time banner. In fact, it might have been the last Ultra Space-Time. Is that what happened? Wow, time flies. Yellow Cell got a Zenkai recently, so obviously he's not going to get it. And then you see the only other candidates are Hercule, 18, Blue 18, Instant Transmission Goku, and then there's like Red Cell, the Revival Cell. Like there's not a lot of candidates, so it's very possible any of those characters gets a Zenkai. It's extremely possible. You know what it is? It also kind of comes down to what the new character is going to be, like the next LF that we're going to be getting in a couple of weeks. What is that character going to be? What is their typing going to be? Things like that. So we'll know, like, if this character is meant to Zenkai buff that character, things like that. For example, Omega released before Super 17. Typically it's the other way around, but Omega released before, and he is a Zenkai buffer for Red GT. So we'll see with that too. If I had to guess, I would say Super Trunks and First Form Cell are the most likely. And if they're not going to give a new Cell, I think, other than a free one, right? I think First Form Cell is the #1 most likely character to get a Zenkai right now. I think that makes a lot of sense in terms of still giving Cell representation. So Dark Horse character is a Zenkai for the Revival Cell. He was the original Revival character. That could cook. That could be pretty problematic. That could be kind of problematic. Next up on the list that could be kind of interesting would be actually Hercule. If they decide to actually, he could still be a meme character, but if they lean into like crazy utility effects, because he already kind of has that, like he also has the endurance, things like that. Was he the original endurance or the second one? I think he's the second one. Regardless, he's got crazy stuff kind of like for his time period. It's just they neutered him with the stats, right? So I would like to see the stats get fixed, because the stats are hilarious, right? They're hilarious, but let him cook, man. If he keeps those stats and they lean heavy into, I'm talking crazy amounts of utility stuff where you don't really need Hercule for anything other than his endurance, then that's fine. He's also one of the only characters in the game that has a unique mechanic like that champion call, where when he goes down, the crowd starts chanting for him. That's still really, really cool. Is it time for Instant Transmission Goku to get his Zenkai? You know, once upon a time, the topic was never Zenkai him. No, that blue card is too broken. Just this and that. You know, I never want to see it. I was actually saying this. Everyone was saying it, but I myself was saying it too. But I've since said, like, around the time like Ultra Rose, Kid Buu hit in that area, I just was like, whatever, man. Like and nowadays it's much worse now too. I don't care anymore. Like just Zenkai anything. You can't produce something that scares me in this game anymore. I'll still say something is garbage, like Super 17's green card. I will say it's garbage. Like 17 is so funny because he's a really good designed character that's also really badly designed for like game balance, but like he's weird. Like he's really, really weird. So like to me, so there's been so much broken stuff in this game that like this guy getting a Zenkai doesn't scare me. And also because they don't make Zenkais like crazy good, and they're obviously gonna hold back on this guy because of what he could potentially do, and they don't want to produce a character that could just, you know, rule the game as a Zenkai character. So they would hold back anyway. But I'm just not scared of it. So, but I don't know. It just depends if it's finally time. He's one of the, like, he's got to be like one of the 5 oldest characters at this point that doesn't have a Zenkai. So it could happen. All right, so moving on from Zenkais, because there's not a lot of options there. Since there are so many Sparkings in this grouping that do have Zenkais, that does mean that the list of characters to get an equip or a couple of equips is there too. I would say at least 2 equips are going to potentially happen. Oh, you know what? You know what I've done? So I pulled up Cell Saga here, but I didn't realize that I actually have to do something else here. When you talk about Cell Saga, and this is something I constantly forget, and most people also constantly forget, is you also have to talk about the Android Saga. Because it's Android Saga, and then it shifts to being Cell Saga midway through that whole overarching arc. That's a lot of arc there. But the whole story, that whole portion of the story is Android Saga, and then Cell is introduced, and it shifts to being Cell Saga. So even though during the first portion there's a whole backdrop of Cell, but he's not actually a thing yet. So, and then also you have like as you see here, the history of Trunks stuff too. So there's not a lot of stuff here, but I wouldn't be surprised if we got a new character that feeds into both of these. But since they are two separate tags, and I believe Dokkan has them as one, but since they are two separate like tags in this game, I don't know if this could be like persona non grata here. They just may just leave this. I don't really know what to expect for this grouping. Like, I don't know if getting a new 16 counts. You could drop a new 16 from the Cell Saga, right? You could drop a new 17 from the Cell Saga. In fact, we don't have any of those. There's no androids from the Cell Saga, technically, other than this 18. And I guess Cell, obviously, right? Right, obviously. But, like, there's no 16 or 17. Probably because, and then the other 18. Probably because they just go away so quickly. But 16 is, no, there should be a 16. 16 is vital to this portion of the story. His role is huge at the end of the story. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. What do you guys think about that? Like, what do you think they're going to do? It's funny because there is a 16, and he has interactions with Gohan and stuff like that because he's 16. Gohan and 16 go hand in hand for obvious reasons. But we don't have a 16 from that specific moment because this is not even the same 16. He just has interactions with Gohan. So like, it's kind of weird. We'll see what they do, but that's something that I don't talk about enough. I'm sure a lot of people probably don't talk about enough, but that's also on the table. They really should just retcon it and make them both one, though. I understand why they're separate, especially when you look at the list of different sagas that they have listed there in the game, but I think this game, they could totally just make them together, and that would just clean up a lot, because there are no Z ability buffers for the Android Saga, right? There's nobody here buffing this damn saga group. There may be one or two characters doing it for Cell Saga, and that's like it, unless that's like, I think that's a new characters only. So yeah, this is a weird group. But talking about equips, I'm not going to mention any equips for this grouping. That's why I kind of brought it up, because I was going to say some of these characters could get interesting equips. Like Yellow 18 could get an interesting equip. Like she could be really good, but I don't know what to expect. So I'm gonna stick to Cell Saga. Now it has been confirmed per Hydros and Twitter that this guy's going to be the one getting it. So there's that. In terms of his equip, he's so damn old that he just needs everything. I don't know. This is not his Zenkai kit though. I don't know what his equip is going to give him in particular. What was his focus here? It was obviously Blast. I knew that. Blast debuffs there. Oh my god, he has a Zenkai passive that's still just one line? Good lord. They didn't even bother changing that. It looks like they probably changed it a little bit, but not enough to matter. When this character's on the battlefield, applies the following effects when the enemy switches characters to himself. Restores ki, extra cut, restores vanish. Okay, this guy's got a... Applies the following effects when he enters the battlefield, heals, restores ki, gets damage, and then gets strike damage. I love when they give the Blast character strike damage and then the other way around too. It's really funny to me. But draws an ultimate, gets a little bit extra cut. But he doesn't have any like draw speed in here or anything. You could tell he doesn't have much when you look at his traits, bro. He's got 2 traits. like actual traits, rising power and ultimate arts. He like legitimately has nothing. So okay. That's a lot of heavy lifting for an equip. This is an example of a Zenkai that needs a Zenkai. If this is really all he has, this is an example of a Zenkai that needs a Zenkai. How old is this Zenkai? Like a couple years, right? This is just like very barren though. Ultimate plus for key recovery. Okay, whatever. Minus draw speed. Okay, so my initial thoughts for this guy's equip is that it needs damage, it needs draw speed, and it needs nullify covers. That's a lot to ask for one slot on an equip. I I don't really know, but what they do is they'll say, okay, when this character holding this equip activates their main ability, apply these effects to the character. So they could do it if they want to, but he doesn't have a damn thing in his kit. So I don't know what they're doing with this guy. I don't know how they save this guy to make him playable with an equip. He's an example of a Zenkai that needs a Zenkai. And don't worry, because he's not the only one. Basically, all the other Zenkais on this list need a Zenkai at this point, aside from Yellow Cell. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that. So if Vegeta's getting one, then I'm not sure what would stop them from giving one to Trunks here. Trunks could be kind of interesting, but he's another character that's just flawed by design. I'm not going to break his whole kit down, not going to really go too deep into it, but same style, he probably just needs the same damn stuff. I don't think he has draw speed either. I don't think he has any either. He does have one. Okay, they added one in. Okay, that's fair. Increases draw speed, key recovery. Okay, so he has that stuff too, but doesn't have nullify, right? He does have special cover nullification, actually. So Trunks at least has more tools. Okay, when the battle starts, it gets for 45 seconds. Okay, and the damage cut, damage. Okay. So maybe what you can do is, when he activates the green, make him get an increased chance to land Fate. Do I ask for that in this? Like, part of me cares, but part of me doesn't care, because a lot of characters are just flat out immune to Fate. So part of me cares, part of me doesn't care. You could do something like that, but he's gonna get a massive damage increase with the new style of unique equips that they're giving characters, which shout out to the older characters like Green Ultimate Gohan, Green 16 that got those equips, and they didn't have that freaking 90% increase because of whatever reason. Did you see those older ones? Where is it at? It's not showing here. That's wrong button. So yeah, look at this. 30%. The new ones are coming out with 90, bro. Good lord. That's like not even a year difference. Anyway, so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he got it. Also, I want to kind of throw out there too, does this guy's, his equip's Awoken, right? Yeah, it is Awoken. He's got a few options. I'm not sure there's much they can really do with this guy. They'll probably just make a new Cell Saga equip that he could use. Obviously, he already has access to a number of good stuff. I don't think there's anything you can do to save that character. He's just dead. Gohan here could be interesting. He could be interesting. There's not a ton of strong purple characters in the meta, although I can see them maybe this can go either way. Maybe they want to do this or don't want to do it because Cell is the main purple for this team. I'm not really sure if they want to try to produce a character that could potentially rival him. I don't think that Gohan is so damn old. He probably just needs too much work that an equip can really do to really get there. Okay, so instead of beating around the bush, you know who really should get it? You know who should get the equip is Yellow Cell. You know why he should get the equip? It's because he needs the leap. Now, that's funny to say because that means that later on when he does need it, he won't be able to get it. But that means that right now, his potential is super damn high because his Zenkai is really good. So he could kind of cook. But Fusel Kami Piccolo is my last one that I'm going to throw out there. I think Fusel Kami Piccolo could be interesting. Was the definition of mid on release. Main thing that I was saving him was that neutrality on the main ability there for 45 seconds. That's still really strong. He just didn't do enough damage, things like that. So next up, let's talk about the next character. Now, we already, like I said, talked about the idea that the new character that's free is going to be a Cell. So if the free character Cell, then I don't surmise there will be another Cell released. I mean, maybe. But I don't think so. Now, I know that we are getting an equip for Final Flash Vegeta here. I'm going to say it right now, would not be surprised if Vegeta, in some way, shape, or form, was the LF for this campaign. Now, they love putting Vegeta in tag units. The last 6 months especially, he's in tag after tag after tag, and as recently as Vegeta and Bulla, which that's probably the only way you could do that card anyway, so I don't really mind that one in particular. But all the Goku ones and stuff like that, it is what it is. And it led to Vegeta not getting a solo character all of last year. I'm here to tell you that since he didn't get one last year, I would expect not one, not two, probably at least 3 solo characters, LF or otherwise, maybe Sparking, maybe an Ultra, that Vegeta will get this year. Because it's just the law of averages. He's going to get stuff this year. You can bank on it, right? And if I'm wrong, then just shoot the messenger. They say don't, but I'll say you can do it. Actually, don't literally do it. But you get my point. So yeah, I'm expecting Vegeta to get that. Now I wouldn't be surprised if Vegeta got an LF in here, and I think the most notable version of Vegeta from the Cell Saga could be something like this. but it just would be kind of weird conceptually to say, hey, here's an LF and here's an equip. So it's a whole Super Vegeta campaign kind of for this like couple of weeks here, you know? So Super Vegeta galore would be kind of weird, but they've done weird stuff like that in the past before, where it's like one character and then the character gets a Zenkai or whatever. Like, they've done stuff that's weird, or that doesn't seem to make the most sense to me, but it is what it is. So I wouldn't completely write it off. I also wouldn't write off, I know I just said they're going to give him some solo stuff. Maybe it's not time for him to get a solo. Maybe they do a Trunks and Vegeta tag. That could also happen too. I know people don't want to see that, but I think people want to see it, but I think people more so want to see Vegeta get a solo character. So I wouldn't sleep on that as well as an option for the upcoming LF. Also, I had to laugh devious for this one. Since the last LF was Cell, what are the chances the next LF is a new Gohan? Yo, I can already see it too. That's hilarious. I can already see it. The next LF being a Gohan. They're just gonna resume where they left off last time. Look, Cell, Super Saiyan Gohan. It's gonna be that. So I asked Hydros to make that thumbnail with the Buchigiri Goku. Hold on, I got a text here, my bad. With the Buchigiri Goku, and I was like, you know, I just wanted that on the thumbnail. Not because I particularly thought it was a high chance of happening. I do think there's a chance that Goku could get one. I'll talk about it in a minute. But he was like, nah, we don't need no more damn Gokus. We got too many Gokus in the game, too many LF Gokus, this and that. Now, I sympathize with that idea, that mindset that some of you guys may or may not have, because it is true. I mean, like, Goku's been getting characters, like, back to back to back to back. And it is interesting. A part of it is like he's the main character, so obviously he's going to have more characters than anybody else in the game. It's just really funny when they do the consecutive thing. Like, Goku's been released, like, all over Legends Festival. He had the tag. He had 2 tags in Legends Festival. 2. And then in Ultra right after. And then they start the year with another LF Goku. That is hilarious where it's consecutive. Like, it's just like, it's Goku or bust, baby. And not in the good way. So, in all seriousness, I wouldn't be surprised if it's some of the other characters. But Goku's an interesting one. Because I think that this saga is so underrepresented that there's so much Goku you could potentially do. You could do the instant transmission redone as an LF, where you know you get him doing this, and then you get he does this animation in the game, but 2024 Legends animation, I guess it would probably be 2023 because they take a little bit to make them, would just be so much better, right? And I would love for it to have the finishing shot where it pans out. You know how the camera pans out, you see Goku standing there in front of Cell with the Kamehameha, and Cell's just like blown to smithereens. I would love for that to be the windscreen, bro. That or not the windscreen, but the end of the animation then transitions to the windscreen as the camera pans back around to his face. There's so much you could do with this. You also, coincidentally, could do a Bye Guys Goku or something like that. Maybe Bye Guys LF tag Goku Gohan. That's like a revival character. That could kind of cook. It could be a revival like Piccolo Gohan, where it's like, what were they? They were an assist first, right? And it was, what was it? Primarily Gohan, right? It was an assist character. Then Piccolo gets defeated. Or no, screw that. Pikkon and Gogeta. Clearer example. It could be the same, actually, literally the same thing. One character into another character via revive. It's the same thing. So that works perfectly. So you could totally do something like that, where it's like, Bye Guys Goku, he gets defeated, and Hydros threw out there, maybe he has the ability to like counter or trigger the opponent's to counter the opponent's triggering of a final counter ability, you know, like how the last Cell we got blows himself up. It would actually fit pretty nicely now that I think about it. I wasn't really campaigning for this, but I could see the vision, man. I think that could actually be really cool. And he's got like a final counter. That's funny to say. And he is able to just eat that, and then he goes down. You see Gohan crying. Maybe you incorporate the 16 or whatever, you know, and then Gohan just snaps. Actually, no, that's a little bit later. I'm all over the place. that's before I'm like way like at the end. No, I'm like way out of it. I'm just thinking about too many things. The point is with the Cell Saga is that there's so much you can do. So yeah, all seriousness though, Bye Guys Goku could kind of cook. I started looking at this Goku on the screen, and then my head was going like rewinding timeline, and it's like, okay, yeah, you can do the Gohan transformation. I'm like, wait a minute, Bye Guys is way after that. All right, anyway, So yeah, Bye Guys Goku could be really cool. There's a lot they could do with that. And it could be a revived character, 2 characters in one. I would actually like to see that. I think that's my favorite idea for the Cell Saga campaign. I actually think that's my favorite idea. So that's it. Now, I want to also throw out a few options. You also can do like a new Trunks. You know, I talked about this Trunks earlier, but like they could do another Trunks, obviously a better Trunks, you know, things like that from that portion where he goes back to the future and wraps up the androids and then Cell a little bit later. You can do stuff like that. That's fine. Now, an Ultra is interesting because I don't know with an Ultra. In fact, I know for a fact it doesn't. But with an Ultra, they don't have to be beholden to like some sort of grandiose moment. Like, you know, for example, Bye Guys would be a grandiose scene that they would try to, you know, encapsulate in an LF release. With an Ultra, you can kind of just drop whatever. So my top of the list candidate is once again Final Flash Vegeta. I would love to see an Ultra Final Flash Vegeta. Now, we didn't get an Ultra in the GT campaign, so all that tells me is about in a few weeks, you know, because this week we're going to get this, next week we're going to most likely get another LF. I don't really know what the schedule is, actually. Scratch that. Because they gave LFs twice last month. I don't know what the schedule is, because things are weird. Maybe we start this campaign with the damn Ultra, for all I know. I don't know. So just saying that. I just don't think that's off the table because last month was so weird. That's something they don't do. They don't do 2 LFs in a month. And last month was probably handled that way because Battle Hour, because they wanted something to show, but didn't want to show an LF or an Ultra, excuse me, because there wasn't an Ultra for that portion of the campaign. That, you know, they were going to have an Ultra that was going to be maybe for this campaign or for something else, right? So they didn't want to show it then. Last year in that time slot, it was Ultra Rose. So, right, it was Ultra Rose. Anyway. So I don't really know what they're doing, but assuming things are back to normal this month, that means there will be another LF next week, which, yes, that means 3 LFs in a span of 6 weeks, which is a lot, by the way, outside of a celebration, like a real celebration. But yeah, so assuming that that's the case, I don't know, but maybe it's an Ultra. And for an Ultra, I think Final Flash Vegeta is at the top of my list. At the top of my list. And the next one, I think that could... obvious ones like an Ultra Gohan, fine, whatever, obvious. Like Gohan fan here, I'm not going to spend much more time on that. That's obvious. Light Zone Grenade, Hell Zone Grenade Piccolo, Light Zone Grenade. Oh my god. Light Grenade. Like, why am I saying Light Zone? I'm like all over the place today. I had to confirm. I was like, that's not right. Like, that's not right. Light Grenade, Hell Zone Grenade, Piccolo. I could cook, man. As an Ultra, I would like that. I would actually like that a lot. I think it fits perfectly fine as an Ultra. I think you could make it work. I don't really know that I love too many options for Ultras outside of main characters. Like, you could drop an Ultra Cell, obviously, but I would probably prefer if they waited on that because we have a really strong Cell in the game. There's a couple other really good ones. Like, there's a perfect, like, you know, perfect form Cell. Purple one's really good, and there's a couple really good ones in red and yellow Cell. I don't know that I want to see another like Ultra Cell right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if we got some of the other stuff. So we in this video have detailed much more than I intended to. We talked about the new character that's what I think the new character is, the equip that is for sure coming out, other equip possibilities, the campaign as it currently stands, as the characters that we have, characters that could get Zenkais that don't have them, things like that. We also talked about the next upcoming LF. We talked about the next upcoming Ultra ideas. And I think the main takeaway I want you guys to have is when you look at this grouping, once again, all these characters are so damn old. So even if they represented something like Final Flash or like Instant Transmission or even Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, because we know they've represented those characters in the past, that doesn't matter anymore. Because enough time has elapsed for it's like they can do these again. It's not like this Gohan, for example, came out last year and they're trying to make another one. It's not the case. The guy came out 2019, right? Like this, it's been 5 years, give or take, depending on actual date. But still, it's been a long time. So they can redo anything here, pretty much anything. So, and I actually am all for it. I really want to see what they can do with the newer abilities that they have technology-wise to produce better characters. Some of them look good still. Some of these older characters look good for what they're trying to animate, but I think they could do so much. 17, for example, looks so amazing. Can you imagine seeing 17's animations of some of these other characters represented again? That could be really cool. A Final Flash Vegeta where he just has the full load up of charging that, and it's, oh my god, bro. Could you imagine if they could also play the music too? Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm out of here.